Hi, my name's Jude, and as of the recording of this video, I'm 19 years of age, having just finished my freshman year of college. I've been playing League since about the 8th grade, and I can't know exactly how much time I've put into the game, and to be honest, I probably would rather not know. But I do know that no other game comes close to just how many hours and hours I've poured into League. So while I might be hard-stuck, I believe I have ample enough knowledge and experience to give a pretty thorough examination of the game, or at least its impact upon me. League of Legends has been the biggest game of my, and I'm sure so many others' life. It's not my favorite video game, nor would I consider it the hardest, and to be honest, I don't really know if I think of it in the same way that I do normal video games. Other games seem to have some sort of innate purpose when I pick them up. If I feel competitive, I'll play CS, creative, Minecraft, if I want to talk to people, Gmod. Yet, League seems to surpass this sense of thinking. It seems to almost be a constant that I'll enjoy a game of League, and if I don't, a time will come again that I do. With this video, I hope to articulate just why I think League is as successful as it is, and to express my appreciation not only for the game, but for the reasons it's become such a big part of my life.
I could finish an item, or I could get 2 wards.
During my last year of middle school, a few of my friends began talking about a game that they all played. It was called League of Legends, and even though my favorite YouTuber Videogamedunkey played it, another huge part of League's history that I'll get to later, I remember disregarding their conversation of it at first. But as time went on, talk of it became more and more prevalent, so I eventually gave in and began playing the game myself to be a part of the conversation. I remember it was the end of Season 4, and I thought that I had revolutionized the game by taking NASA's top and building my own personally constructed build, the Giant, where I would rush 6 Giant's belts, and that would be it. But getting into the game was difficult, to say the least. One of my biggest gripes with League has always been that you have to learn so much. But with content on the internet like YouTube videos and streaming becoming more and more popular, I, as many others did, began soaking up vast amounts of knowledge even while not playing the game. I even remember going to a Halloween party with this group of friends in our freshman year of high school and getting the World's Finals onto the TV at a high school Halloween party. No, I don't think our social reputations ever recovered from that. Anyways, I'm convinced that this sort of online content is a huge part of the game's success, and I know it contributes immensely to my own personal enjoyment of the game. It combines this sense of constant knowledge growth with mechanical mastery in such a captivating way that you can't ever know it all. You're always learning and your mind is always engaged. Unless of course you are my jungler in my gold promos, in which case you've turned off your monitor and are applying none of your non-existent brain power towards learning anything about the game. So while many video games are entertainment, League for the first few months felt like studying. But it taught me how to enjoy improvement over time and how the most satisfying things take time to achieve. One of the pillars that holds League up is not the knowledge that it forces its players to learn, but the way it has them do so. While I might gripe about it, I have to admit that it's one of the core reasons the game has lasted and grown for so long, and why I and so many others continue to enjoy it to this day. And yet, I would have never stuck with the game through those initial first few months, nor would I have come back to League after the numerous breaks I've taken from it, if it wasn't for another core factor to the game's success: friends. Personally, I have a very closely knit group of friends. The majority of us have known each other since preschool or kindergarten, and we've all grown up in so many ways together, and while it might sound weird, I think that League was a large factor to that. In learning the ins and the outs of the game, my friends and I would exchange information at school, not unlike how we would discuss discoveries like the cake is a lie Easter egg in Portal 2, or some new mob or biome we had found in Minecraft the previous night. Yet League expanded on this further with a sense of friendly opposition and rivalry, urging my friends and I to continue to push each other to improve, no matter how far we'd come. The nights I remember taking my laptop to my friend Lucas or Gige's house and duo queuing feet apart from one another holds a special place in my heart because I think of that mindset of wanting to improve together. And I realized just how much it's influenced not just my experience with the game, but my approach to life and the challenges I still face to this day. My friends and I all have different opinions on the game, and we all play for our different reasons, but for all of us, it's just the game we play with each other. And I'm sure there are countless other groups of friends that have the same dynamic, and while there are other games like Minecraft and Gmod that have brought us together, League just happens to be the one that we've stuck with since we started. And with, I'm sure, thousands of small groups like this forming, community inevitably developed around the game. People began to grow connections over League in just the same way that others' connections had grown from it. And when you talk about the League community, you can't ignore the presence of one Videogamedunkey. Hell, when you talk about the video game community as a whole, his influence is almost unrivaled. Dunkey was core to the community of League of Legends, and even though he stopped making League content almost 5 years ago, he still is. To this day, I'll consistently see people spout Dunkey references in all chat, and my friends and I continue to quote him and his videos on a daily basis, if not more often. Dunkey provided a short and sweet juxtaposition with his videos against the almost monotonous and grueling task of learning League that no other creator would. As I said, I watched his videos before even picking up the game, not understanding what was happening, but still loving the character and the effort his videos always seemed to radiate. He made League interesting for enough people and for long enough that people learned the game, and even with his retirement from League of Legends content, people had been hooked. Whether it was for the competitive aspect of the game, for playing with friends, making content, or just to have an engaging pastime, Dunkey had showcased each and every one of this game's potentials. Even though on the surface, much of Dunkey's content seems crudely comedic and uninsightful,
kill ass fuck.
His videos like his Dunk Views and his reviews of The Shining present an incredibly refined sense of knowledge and wisdom that he's not afraid to share. Dunkey defined his own style by producing the content he loved, and while League gave him that platform, he inevitably grew out of it. And while many thought leaving the game which made him would be his downfall, nothing could have been further from the truth. Dunkey had built up the League community, yes, but in doing so, he had also cultivated his own community. Now, while I started off this script with the intention of only really breezing over Dunkey's influence on my own experience of the game, I only planned on touching on his contribution to the community. It's kind of become blatantly obvious to me that Dunkey himself was, and again still is, integral to all these senses of camaraderie, growth, and engagement I've attributed to League. Again, I could not count the number of times my friends and I would get together and put on Dunkey videos, or the unbelievable number of references we've made to him in our daily lives.
Already has more HP than Bearman, goddammit.
He shaped all of our characters, mine especially. During middle school and early high school, all of the jokes and references I made were from Dunkey. He provided content that, as a middle schooler, I was able to enjoy for the crude humor and the high-energy comedy, and now, as a young adult, I appreciate as some of the most genuinely insightful and passionately made entertainment on the internet. Even his videos, which seem much more simple and comedic in nature, I've gained a newfound appreciation for since beginning to create content myself. Sitting down and editing a video like Escape from Hell or writing out a rap like Final Boss must have taken so much passion and effort that I don't think people realize until they've tried to do it. On top of that, the range of content Dunkey has covered is incredible. It's genuinely inspired me to just create content that I enjoy. Dunkey's reviewed video games, reviewed movies, written multiple raps, responded to comments, responded to tweets, shared his wedding, done prank calls, made a dance video, and done whatever this was. And the only way that someone can foster an audience like this, creating such a large range of content, is to genuinely love the craft and to put your whole heart into whatever it is you're sharing with the world. And that comes through in every one of his videos. It's hard to think about another creator on the platform that is so consistent with their viewers. I mean, if you look at big channels like PewDiePie or the Yogscast, yes, they have so many subscribers, but many of those are inactive and don't actually view their videos. And if you come back to Dunkey's channel, you see that he has, at the time of recording, roughly 6.23 million subscribers, and all of his videos have roughly half that many views, no matter what the content is. In his iconic "I'm done playing League of Legends" video, he even touches on his love of the craft, saying how much he loves editing the videos and loves making his audience laugh.
I love to make you guys laugh. I want to keep making better videos, and I want to represent games that I truly enjoy.
And I think that so many creators can lose this from boosts in popularity. I think people begin to see the content creation as their job and feeling as though they have to do it, that they're locked into whatever generates the most views or brings in the most subscribers, rather than just viewing it as a passion they've always wanted to follow. But Dunkey has never seemed to suffer from this. He's time and time again seemed to create and push exactly the kind of content he wants to produce. And while all of his videos may not be classics, I don't think anybody can say that a single one of his videos is lackluster in effort or passion. He's been hands down my favorite content creator since I've started watching his videos, and he's inspired and shaped me in so many ways, more than any other creator on the platform. So, while I may not know Dunkey personally, and I may never have met him, I'm still salty I was out of town during his meetup, by the way. To me, Dunkey feels like a mentor, like someone to look up to as an example of how to be happy creating content on really any platform. So, thank you, Dunkey. From me and all the other numerous Dunkey clones out there who have been inspired and intrigued by the content you've created for years. You have single-handedly shifted the course of the video game and YouTube community as a whole. And even though Pac's classic line says otherwise, I think you're the one man to have all that power.
Now, while everyone might have differing opinions on League of Legends and its community, no one can really contest that it's been extremely successful and grown immensely over the years. I got to grow up with the game. It's taught me so much about myself, both good and bad, and no matter what, it'll always be a part of what makes me the person that I am. I, like many others, am incredibly harsh on the game. I criticize the client and the balance and the toxic community, but I've never really taken the time to express my appreciation for all the good that it's done me and all the growth that I've had from it. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, League of Legends.
Alright, I made the video. Now can you please bring back Twisted Tree Line?